It's April 12, 2025, and it's nice to say that Jamaica is experiencing a felt earthquake quietness. Now, it's strange to say, but if you're like me, while you may welcome the reality of this felt earthquake silence, you will also be watching it pretty much with a corner of your eye. Is this something we should be concerned about? Or is this just basically a natural reality that some periods or some years we may experience higher frequency and in terms of felt earthquakes, and in others we may experience pretty much stillness, quietness? So here it is now that I'm going to present some data and present to you as well some things to consider. This data highlights the 2024 felt earthquakes on mainland Jamaica. This data is presented by the Earthquake Unit of Jamaica. Now, between the months of January to April 10 to be exact, Jamaica experienced 4 felt earthquake events. For the same period in 2025, Jamaica experienced 0 felt earthquake events, as per data presented by the Earthquake Unit of Jamaica via both their website and social media channels, to be exact, Instagram. Now, what I should mention is that felt events does not mean no events occurring. As you can see in this document presented by the Earthquake Unit of Jamaica via their Instagram page, for the month of February 2025, Jamaica recorded 42 earthquake events. These events would have been less than the magnitude that would have required or enabled us to be able to feel the event itself. Hence why there is 0 felt events. Now, in terms of the fault location for these earthquakes I've mentioned, so for 2024, what we can see through these felt earthquake bulletins presented by the Earthquake Unit of Jamaica is that of the 4 earthquakes that were reportedly felt, 2 of them would have occurred in the eastern section of the island, 1 in the central section of the island, and another more so towards the western section of the island. Comparing this to the diagram of the February 2025 events presented by the Earthquake Unit of Jamaica, we see close similarity, whereby we have activity in the eastern section of the island, we have an activity or 2 in the western section of the island, and we also have an activity in the central section of the island, albeit more so towards south coast itself. So then, what we can take away is that even though we are not feeling these events in 2025, the general eras of felt events of 2024 are still the eras of earthquake activity in 2025. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, the question should be asked, is this a matter of concern? The fact that we are not experiencing felt earthquake events to date. So what it is that we should take into consideration are the following: that when we look at the fault activity or the action behind an earthquake occurring, the things that we should look at, or what we do actually look at, are the following: fault characteristics, stress buildup within the faults, the seismic gap or the period of inactivity within a fault or along a fault that is indicative of strain, stress buildup. We also look at the pore fluid pressure changes, as well as fault creep, recurrence intervals. Now, it should be mentioned that this listing, as presented by the Google search, is not an exhaustive listing. But essentially, these characterizations the upper fault system itself are factors behind why a fault can be quote unquote active and inactive, as well as why a fault/fault system can produce high magnitude earthquakes and earthquakes of lesser magnitude or even at a magnitude that is beneath what we have the capacity to feel. With that being said, us not feeling earthquakes to present could be that there is a buildup of stress, and in that context, basically, it is just waiting on the right time as well as the right conditions to release its energy. In spite of whether or not you are feeling earthquakes, you should ensure that you are practicing the recommendations of earthquake safety. May this be a cultural practice